$20,000. Here you would go actually to Beverly Hills or Newport Coast. Houses actually you can rent for $20,000, right? So and exactly. And over there you can buy a 7-bedroom, and I saw it myself online. 7-bedroom. Well, it's historic area next to Sherman Park, and basically the city put a historic area for that one they announced. You just have to basically keep up with all the regulations, and it will be very nice actually. But it's like for 7-bedroom, it's like $20,000. That's how cheap it is. It's like a ghost town. Nobody lives there anymore. Nobody lives there. So they're trying to bring the business back there. So we don't have the labor, again, this is our labor situation. Germany has very strong, we have like somewhat, some states do, some states don't. In Japan, the labor is basically between management, within the company, between managers or workers of the company, between them. It's not an official, it's not outside of the company, it's not government union, it's not supported by any other organization other than the company itself. So that's how basically, that's how we call them loyal, right? Union is offered by single companies or even operational units. Like each unit can offer their own union. Large companies offer lifetime employment. That's part of their compensation incentives. It is difficult to leave a job and find another job because the next job is going to say, where did you work before, right? You're on your resume. And it's very difficult to say, why did you leave that job? If they contact, it is actually bad in your resume to say you've left that job. You shouldn't be leaving. But again, when I talk to my Japanese student right now, like your age generation, they're like, no, these days you can see that they're leaving. Not like the rate as here, of course, but these days it's much more than it was used to be before. So, an evaluation of Japan. How is Japan doing now? Performance of Japanese economy in 20th century. Golden years of Japan was between years of 1950 to 1987. Average annual growth was 7%, more than 7%. So just like what we see with China today. China's was actually at some point 12%. Between 1980 to 1990, the growth rate went down, but it was still good, 4%. Unfortunately, after 1990 to present, the growth started declining. Average growth is 1% a year. And as I said, we're going to talk why this happened, what happened to Japanese economy that was doing so good, but right now they went down. And they're really, one of the main factors, I think I talked about it. Let me see. These are the reasons, I'm going to go back to that. These are the reasons why Japanese economy started going down. These are the weaknesses. It's a very homogeneous society. Japan actually, South Korea is actually more than that. Japan and South Korea are the two most homogeneous societies in the world. Everybody is from the same culture, background, everything. Because different countries, even if you don't have immigrants, but you have different backgrounds. They don't need to be immigrants. But for example, you will see native people in Mexico, or like different types of backgrounds they have, right? Cultures, ethnic groups that you will see in Mexico. You don't need to be definitely immigrants. But in Japan, they're all exactly the same people. Japan and South Korea, I guess.
Isn't it because it's like really hard to live there if you're not Japanese and you have to like go through?
They don't. That's one of their problems. The resistance to immigration. They don't like immigration at all. That's why they're very homogeneous. Because they want to keep their homogeneity. So they want to make sure that they're a very homogeneous country.
So you can like visit there, but you can't just move
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
You
no.
go through a bunch of
They just, yeah, it's almost, yeah. There are people that live there, not that they're not, but first of all, they're like immigrants. You have to, most of the times you have to be married to a Japanese citizen. That's one way. But still, it doesn't mean you're going to be a Japanese citizen. You can be on permanent residency for a very long time. And even that, it's so difficult that usually they don't stay there. They move out eventually. It's a very homogeneous country. Loss of creativity was another problem with them because there's no competition. Here, competition is keeping us, of course, it's a lot of pressure, right? but still it keeps us, the economy going. But over there, lots of creativity because there is no competition. Aging population. Germany basically solved this problem by accepting immigrants. Germany was always more open than Japan, but in late 1990s, they announced that immigrants can become citizens, just like the United States. When you stay here long enough, you can become citizen. In Germany now, they're doing that too. Before late 1990s, even when if you were born in Germany, you wouldn't become a citizen. So it was only through blood. But and then after that, they changed the law. For the last 20, 25 years, they changed the law. Japan and Germany were the two major countries that were facing this problem, the population loss, basically. And Germany, that's how they solved it, but Japan resisted to immigration, resisted to tap into productive potential women. It's a lot less. The women are not basically considered exactly same high quality as men in Japan. If you remember, we talked about it between the ages of 20 to 30, they start adopting, right? They start adopting older, wealthy families. They start adopting 20 to 30 years old men just to have, so they can pass their heirs or business to another male figure, probably. Financial problems. Banks started failing just because of the bubble uppers, as we said, because they started lending out a lot. Government had to take over banks. Japanese banks, okay, here it says Japanese banks heavily lent to South Korea, Indonesia, and Thailand, countries with major financial problems. And when they couldn't pay back, that's how the problem started with Japan too. Let me go back here. So these are the strengths of Japan. The strengths of Japan are exports, very high quality, low cost products. Export machine of the world it became at some point, especially in the 70s and 80s. Leading creditor nation linked to foreign investors. If anybody wanted to invest in Japan at that time, Japan would lend them money to invest in Japan. Quality of its industries. Komatsu, which Caterpillar could not compete with it. Komatsu is also earth-moving company, right? So bulldozer, all those machineries actually are made by Komatsu. Caterpillar was basically the leading earth-moving company in the world. And in 1980s, it was when they've noticed that they've been taken over by Komatsu. So they're actually managers, the executives, they traveled to Japan. As a matter of fact, Komatsu did, Caterpillar did, and then Kodak did, and Xerox. Xerox, I'm 100% sure they did too. They went to Japan to buy the product, to reverse engineer to see how is it possible to have such a high quality made in Japan, like it's low price made in Japan, because the quality, if it's made in Japan, the quality is high enough, but how is it so low cost? So they did a lot of research. Caterpillar took it to extent to fight in the American market with Komatsu in 1980s. They could not actually overcome the battle. So what they did at the end, they started losing market, not only in the United States, but also around the world. So market share started going down. Finally, they gave up. What they did, they said, okay, we're not gonna compete head-to-head with Komatsu. Let's implement a new strategy. We're not going to even say that we're competing with Komatsu, because we're going to actually, as a matter of fact, not lower our prices, but increase the prices, because we're going to add value to it. Let's do higher quality, basically Caterpillar, more expensive, but we offer guarantee for 10 years. So that's how they could start taking the market back again. Because if they would go with the same exact value, they would lose. They had to do something else. They decided to, okay, we're going to actually add more value to it, increase our prices if we have to, but we guarantee 10 years because we're sure nothing is going to happen. So, and at that time, they started taking market back. Xerox was another example. Fuji, they went head-to-head. They couldn't compete with that. And then they had to, now what they did, they started actually, Xerox started offering to American multinational corporations for their office supplies. That's how they started, because they didn't want to go retail store and compete like with small businesses or small offices. So what they did, they said, okay, we can't compete with that. Let's let you have that part, and we're going to have the other market. So these are all, and you guys know that all of these companies are one of the top companies in the world. These are their strengths because of the quality and quality management and all the operations management quality certifications, even though the theory was made in the United States, but it was implemented the first thing in Japan. So all the Six Sigma, total quality management, all of those, we still use total quality management, but they're using still Six Sigma, which the rate of failure is 1 in a million. So that's why it's very, very high quality and safe. And these are their weaknesses, we talked about it. And that was it for your Japan chapter. But please make sure, beside that, this PowerPoint is posted for you here, okay? The PowerPoint is posted here, but it's still, you would need to read the file that I post for you guys for your quiz. Okay, so hopefully Tuesday I will post for you guys what needs to be done, what we do, okay? Now, if you're missing a lot of classes, you're not coming to classes for the ones that come rarely to class, just to let you know that you're losing your points, your participation points. Because I know like there's some students that are always here, but there's some of you that rarely show up. So you're losing your participation points, which is 100 points out of 1,000, which is your grade is deducted from B+. Okay, everybody, did you guys sign in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.